Having trouble finding your way to a reliable used car? Well, you just might need a compass. That's right beside me today I have a 2015 Jeep Compass. Now, Jeeps haven't always fared well in these reviews that are based largely on reliability, but I actually have some hope for the Compass here today. It's a little simpler, taking us back to less modern times where things may just have been a little bit more reliable. Today we're going to find out if we think that this car will make it to 250 or 300,000 miles without having major issues. We'll take a walk around the outside, we'll talk about the common problems, and ultimately we are going to decide if the Compass is a buy or a bust. Starting up front for our walk around on the Jeep Compass, and these look like a Jeep. I don't really know what else to say about the looks on them. I think they're okay, but nothing spectacular. As far as wear and tear, this one has held up really well. The only things I really noticed on the outside as far as cosmetic problems that you should look out for is the roof rails are peeling paint a little bit, but that is not a huge deal. I wouldn't be worried about it at all. You can always touch those up, not a big deal. Other things you do want to look out for is actually mostly under the car. There is some rust issues on the subframe and the body, even underneath, so you really do want to make sure that you get under these cars and check them out. Headlights are oxidized a little bit on this, but that is easy to clean up. Everything else looks pretty good for the age and miles. Under the hood of our Compass here, we got their 2.4 liter four-cylinder engine that makes 172 horsepower and 165 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers are not impressive to me, so we will have to see how it does out on the test drive, but I don't think we're going to be winning any drag races in this car. Now, this engine has been out for a long time in a variety of Chrysler products. And I have to tell you that I really like this engine, actually. It's a little bit more simple than a lot of the engines out there today. It's naturally aspirated and has actually been proven to be pretty reliable, but there is still a common problem here or there that we want to talk about. Number one thing really is they do at times burn a little bit of oil. So you got to check and make sure that your oil is topped up and just keep after it and keep it filled, and you should be good to go for a long time. The other issue is with the throttle body. A lot of times there'll even be a warning light for it on the dash, put the car into limp mode or just run really rough, but the throttle bodies are known to fail on these. Otherwise, if you're looking at a used one, I don't have that much to look out for other than just start the engine up, make sure that it sounds good, it sounds quiet, just like this one does. Doesn't always come through perfect on video, but they should be fairly quiet, and just make sure that your coolant is looking good, things like that, and the oil's not all milky or something. But otherwise, these engines have been proven to be very reliable, even up at higher mileage. Now, if you do notice a check engine light or something on the dash, most of the time that's going to be for an EVAP code, which is not huge. Usually a car will still run just like it always did, but there could be something to go wrong with the emission system. It's the most common cause for a check engine light, but I always recommend scan the codes and just see what it says. Or if you don't know, take it to a mechanic and have them look into it before you purchase that vehicle. Moving on now to the transmission. This is a 6-speed automatic transmission, and actually they're generally reliable too. They're not maybe as reliable as the engine. If you're looking for ones that maybe need some work or something like that, a lot of times it will be something with the transmission rather than the engine. They're known for having some weird shifts here or there, really clunks into gear possibly, or takes a second to engage in reverse or drive. But really, I actually don't mind these transmissions much at all. Change the fluid in them, and if you're looking at a used car, just make sure it shifts through all the gears fine and acts like you would expect, and really you should be good to go, and a little bit of maintenance will go a long way to keeping it reliable for the long term. And this is a Jeep, so we got to talk about the four-wheel drive system, and this is a true four-wheel drive vehicle. It's not all-wheel drive, and that system is actually pretty reliable. I don't have much to tell you about it. You can change the fluid if you want to in them, and I would recommend it, but you're really not going to have a lot of issues in most cases with these four-wheel drive systems. Moving on to the interior of our Jeep Compass. And I will say, for being a 2015, this feels like maybe a little bit older of an interior. The Compass came out in 2007. They did do a facelift along the way, but a lot of the parts are still very similar or the same. And this does feel like you're in a older vehicle. That being said, actual wear and tear, pretty decent. There is a little bit of a cut in the driver's seat from sliding in and out. You're going to find that on a lot of these cars. Otherwise, the dash is not all cracked. It is all hard plastic. The door actually has soft material all over it, which is nice. Steering wheel leather, all things like that have held up remarkably well for the age and the miles. Now, as far as electronics, these are a little bit older school, so to speak, and there's not as much tech in them. But HVAC, the blower motor can go bad on there. Make sure it's not vibrating or anything if you turn your fan on loud, and just make sure that it actually works if you're looking at a used one. Radios can fail as well, and they're very antiquated at this point, and you can definitely tell that they are older. The other thing is these can have just some random electrical glitches. If you notice that it's just kind of, I don't know, doing funky things, random lights, something working, then not. A lot of times that is actually the BCM, the body control module, failing. It's not overly common, but does happen from time to time. Overall, it's a super simple interior. It's fairly small and not the most comfortable one I've ever been inside because it just feels a little bit tight. But I don't hate it at all. I think for the size of SUV it's okay. Moving on to the rear seat now of the Compass. And this is a tighter rear seat for an adult, but not terrible either. This seat is where I would sit up front. I'm 5'9". I got good headroom, decent leg room, not a lot of foot space down on the floor. The actual seat itself is fairly uncomfortable. It's very, very stiff. And where the back actually sits is just kind of unnatural feeling, at least for me. Maybe for someone else, it's extremely comfortable, but I would not want to ride back here for a long trip. As far as wear and tear, I don't have anything to say. And as far as features, I don't have really anything to say. So pretty basic area right here. Moving on to the trunk area of the Compass. And it has average space back here, so I have no complaints or anything really spectacular as far as space goes. It does have a real spare tire down underneath here, but you don't have much storage down under there. But it does have one cool thing that I absolutely have to show you, and that is the drop-down speakers. So if you're gonna party it up, you're gonna tailgate, you're going to the football game, the NASCAR race, or maybe pickleball or something, you can pop that guy down and blast your tunes. Pulling out now on the road in our Compass. I'm hoping we don't get lost, but I don't think we will because we got our Compass with us. First things first, we are gonna get on it and feel the power. Not fast. By any even stretch, not fast, but also not terrible. We were pretty much going from a stop there, or very close to a stop. We were about 5 miles an hour when I took off. So I'm gonna do it again here where you'd be like merging on the highway. I think you do have to put your foot the whole way to the floor, but I actually don't hate the power. It feels fine, and the transmission shifted through the gears nicely. I wouldn't call this powertrain refined. It's a little noisy, not the smoothest shifting in the world or anything like that, but also no slipping, no clunks, anything like that. So, I guess old-fashioned is kind of the theme here today. Now, what is actually fairly decent for this is fuel mileage. This is rated at 21 in the city, 27 out on the highway, which for a four-wheel drive SUV, I'm not gonna make any complaints about. I will let it be a little bit slow. Now, I didn't mention it when we were under the hood, but maybe I should have, that there is a CVT transmission option for these cars. And I will just say that I prefer the 6-speed. We're not gonna go into all the details of that, but the 6-speed, I really don't mind too much, even though some people out there complain about them. One of the things that I think is best about these cars is actually the features. And it's like I said, it's not a tech-heavy car, but it has a household power outlet. This is cloth seats, but still has heated seats. It's not luxurious at all, but it has a lot of stuff that's really convenient for day-to-day driving. We're gonna go back out here and let it shift up through the gears one more time. Kind of a normal pace. Works good, works good. It's a little noisy, a little bit of air noise. Kind of typical older Jeep stuff, but I don't hate it. As far as suspension stuff, I don't have a lot to really tell you about. All I can tell you is this is a Chrysler product, and they do usually have some suspension wear and tear stuff as the vehicles age. The rubber dries out and cracks, and Might have a clunk here or there, things like that from the ball joints, but nothing that's that crazy. But you will run into things between 100 and 150,000 miles, maybe a wheel bearing here or there. Back from the test drive, and it is time to decide if the Jeep Compass is a buy or a bust. The market on these cars with 150,000 miles, which is what we always base these reviews on, is somewhere around $7,000. This car only has 130, so it might be a little bit more. Driving one of these is like taking a step back in time a little bit. You can tell that they're built on a little bit of an older architecture. There's less tech, and I think that has actually made these more reliable. The largest factor in these reviews is if they'll make it to 250 or 300,000 miles. Now, I do think you need to look out for the rust. I think that's a very real concern. If you live in the Rust Belt, or even if you're in a southern state, you probably still want to get under and make sure that the subframe and the brake lines and things like that aren't all rusted through. If it is a fairly rust-free car, I think these will make it to 250 or 300,000 miles mechanically. Yes, you could have small problems along the way, just like any car. That makes my decision today pretty easy. These cars are a buy. I think this powertrain has a proven reliability, and a lot of folks are happy with their purchase of these cars. If you have one of these and have had a bunch of problems though, I want to hear about it. Or if you've had a great experience or you think I missed something, put any of your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're in the market for one of these cars, check the link in the description down below, because this one is actually for sale from one of the dealers that lets us borrow a car, which we always appreciate. With all that being said, I appreciate you guys following along. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.